You want success. So success is what you're hoping for, but you're also afraid of disappointment. You have to program yourself out of being afraid of disappointment. Disappointment is only an emotion. So if you can kind of tune out of your emotional body as a solid experience, because basically when you have your subtle bodies and when you have an alignment with your higher self and you're attuned to the subtler bodies of yourself, but still present to your experience, your emotions will not be so dominating in your kind of subjectivity. But what happens is, because emotions and thoughts are such coarse and dense manifestations of energy, we basically, humans are programmed, or they learn to really tune into their emotions and thoughts, and that kind of takes away all of their attention away from the subtler experience of life, which is all pervading. You have an opportunity to kind of tune out of your emotions. So don't be afraid of this disappointment. Just affirm to yourself that it is only an emotion. It's what can it possibly do? There's a consciousness behind the emotion that is never ever damaged by your emotional experience. Even if you're panicking, and even if you are having like an anxiety attack or meltdown or like a panic attack, there's a consciousness that's not affected by that experience at all. It's like completely flawless, and it's in the core of your experience as a being. So learn to tune into that, and don't strive for success. You know, it's almost like this polarity that I see here, that some of your motivation is so driven by your desire for success, but some of your motivation is driven by your fear of disappointment. So it's like this polaric kind of fuel, but what you need to apply is this will, like this divine will. You have to align to your divine will, and the easiest way to kind of remember how to align your personal desire with your divine desire, which basically want the same thing at the end of the day, because your highest good is essentially the collective's highest good, or the good of all. But what is the difference between the egoic desire and the divine desire is that the intentions. So where are the intentions coming from? And you know, it's basically in terms of service to others versus service to self. And that's a very easy way of remembering that. Just when you get nervous, focus on service. And service to others, I mean, I think that just in general, the word service has such a strange connotation, because we call, like, you know, servers, you know, they're servants, or they just have really not such ideal English words that have to do with serving. So it could have strange connotations to you, but service is basically just being there for something, existing for something. So are you existing for yourself, or are you existing for your greater self? And when you say others, it's not others in terms of not yourself, but it's an inclusive collective. So you're included in this others. It's just the expansion of the sense of self. So it's not excluding of yourself. When you are in service to others, you're automatically fulfilled, because there's no way really to be in service to others unless you fulfill yourself first. Any other thing is not true service, because you have to be present to be in service. And if you're present, you're basically fulfilling your own cup. If you're here now for yourself, that's how you can really be of service. And if people are not fulfilled themselves, but they're serving others, that's not holistic service. That's not really effective service. It's not effective at all. It's like trying to fill other buckets when your bucket has a hole in the bottom. So sure, you're gonna be of help, but it's not really effective. So don't worry about chasing success or avoiding disappointment. Just focus on service. And what you're trying to manifest is this structure, and definitely you're working on your internal landscape this month. So I think this was the case with Andromedans as well. Maybe this is just an astrological thing, that a lot of us are focused inwards more than outwards. So of course, external manifestations are great tools to your soul's evolution. But I think this month, for the next few weeks, a lot of us are turning inwards in order to learn lessons. And maybe you've had a very social month last month, or just this blurring of boundaries, and now you're setting up your boundaries. But basically, your main focus is on inner peace and inner strength, and embodying this divine will, pretty much. There's a tremendous internal alchemy occurring, which is that symbol, and it comes with Hermit. But this self-reflection is coming and paired with a divine kind of structure. So if I could make a suggestion based on your energy this month, make sure you set some kind of routine. And you're gonna have times where you don't want to have a routine, but this is the time that you want to have a routine. So make a routine on how you want to structure your time, your energy, your finances, everything like that. Just come up with a creative solution. If you don't like following structure, come up with a more flexible structure that is still a structure. This masculine energy is very emphasized, and diligent work, and just grounded work. So 3 of Pentacles is, you know, putting in the work, and it's just your complex of mind, body, and soul. And I think that you're gonna make tremendous leaps, but first initiate it on this grounded trajectory. So whether that is a very, why would I say scalar? The word scalar came up to mind, and it's funny because you have these 3, 6, 9s as in numbers. Maybe some of you guys are looking into scalar technology. A lot of you have a lot to do with scalar technology, which you might not understand how that's going to play out in your life, but this anti-gravity technology, right? But anyway, yeah, you have so many 9s. Holy, 3, 6, 9s. So whatever emotion comes up, try to get to that space where it's not the emphasis of your experience. Your emphasis of experience should be your awareness. And what was I saying before that? No matter how secular a task seems, if it's grounded, you should prioritize it. So that means working on your environment, working on your physical health, working on your physical body, will play a tremendous role in catapulting the level of change that you wish to experience on a grounded realm. You have the Queen of Discs, so that does also signify that. There's a strong Virgo energy here, so if you have Virgo in your chart, that's the aspect that you should be focused on. So if you work with your astrological chart and different aspects of your chart, pay attention to where you have Virgo. Pay attention to that aspect. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that planet and tune into that planet. So for me, for example, that would be my moon. So I want to focus on my emotions. In your environment, you have the Page of Wands, Princess of Wands. So this is a spark of new creative project, and what matters more is that you have all this divine inspiration. Don't worry about channeling the inspiration because you already have that coming to you in your environment. Just focus on your groundedness. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to always focus on grounding this creative endeavor or creative inspiration, but any efforts to grounding will help ground the inspiration. It's always like a holistic, spherical kind of manifestation of energy, not just a one channel, mono channel thing. Now your final outcome is whatever decision you will make. So first of all, I see that this efforts that you're going to have this month, even if it's tiny little seeds that you're planting, is going to have huge implications in a long-term trajectory. This is going to create like echoing of harvest in the years to come, years and years to come. This is like the beginning of it, and it's going to bring you this lasting fulfillment of the sun. It's just you're grounding the divine plan basically. Do you know how many symbols of the sun you have in your spread? It's very much a divine plan that's unfolding here. So you don't have to worry about, you know, you have to realize some people are focused or they're worried about, you know, acquiring this knowledge or intellect in order to be able to do something or some kind of skill. But this kind of intellect or skill is a byproduct of your divinity. It's not that you have to, what is that phrase? Like, genius is not a product of intellect, but intellect is a product of genius. So this genius, so to speak, is just a higher density of consciousness. So when you can just attune to that level of consciousness, you don't have to worry too much about, you know, polishing so much of your skill. Sure, if you practice for 10,000 hours, like Malcolm Gladwell researched, you know, you need, is it 10,000 hours in order to be an expert at something? That's one way to get there, but another way is to just continually tap into higher consciousness. So don't worry too much about gaining the expertise, just focus on tapping into higher dimensions of consciousness. And you have this art. So I think when you're grounding yourself and doing all these grounded practices, you're going to be creating this temperance that was long overdue. Well, it's not long overdue, but it's due right now. This is the alchemy that you're creating, and you have internal alchemy as well. So this internal alchemy is coming out to the external reality because you're having these grounded efforts. And as long as you have a strong intention, even if you are going outside for 1 minute to take a walk in nature and you can't spend like hours there, if you have a strong intention, that's enough. So no matter how small your efforts, it's just as baby steps. Don't be a perfectionist about it. Perfectionism comes from a lack of self-confidence. Perfectionism comes from the notion that you're not enough right now, so you have to strive so much. But if you can just let go of that notion, you know, all is good. So let me just get into oracle cards and then so a phrase that came to mind was, okay, 1 second, lighting. Health is wealth. That's what they said. So whatever efforts you create towards your health is eventually going to manifest as wealth. And eventually, by eventually, I mean very, very soon. So just remember that kind of link if you need an extra motivation to kind of work on your health and make healthy decisions. And I want to remind you that it's not the big decision that matters as so much as the present current decision that you're making right now that matters more than some kind of big decision that you're projecting into the future. For example, if you're wondering, let's say that you're an omnivore and you eat everything, like you eat meat and everything, and you're concerned about, oh, should I go vegetarian in the next year or something like that, some kind of huge decision that you're making. That doesn't matter as much as if you're tuned into yourself right now and you make a great decision based on your intuition what to eat in the next meal when you're hungry. So if you just follow your intuition, for instance, fine-tune what you want to eat for the time being rather than thinking this major decision is the only one that matters, if that kind of makes sense. Always pay attention to what decisions you have in front of you right now. If you're trying to decide, should I change my job or should I stay at my current job, that's not the decision that matters most. The one that matters most is, what should I do with the next 2 hours that I have for free in order to channel this creative inspiration, you know? And it could be that you just go and draw something and you're not even an artist. And that matters more than you trying to make some kind of life purpose decision in the next few months. So that's something you want to keep in mind. A lot of you are definitely outside of the flock in terms of you don't resonate with the masses, but at the same time you're also basically like an alpha of the ones who don't resonate with the masses, and a lot of you find challenge in dealing with that because it makes you feel alienated. But hey, you're an alien, what can I say? But take a stand in your belief systems and don't let it get swayed by other people's kind of decisions. Make sure you don't let people tell you what to do. Just always think to yourself, if you're considering somebody's advice, don't let them give you advice unless you would trade positions with them in that area. For example, don't take career advice from somebody who's stuck at a job that they don't love. Don't take relationship advice from somebody who doesn't have fulfilling relationships. Don't take health advice from people who are not healthy. Does that make sense to you? So make sure you are really taking a stand on your belief systems. And there's a sacred gift that's coming to you. There's definitely a major kind of gift and grace that's coming to you, but you have to be ready to receive it. You know, sometimes people get spoon-fed opportunities and they don't know how to swallow it, and it's like, what are you going to do, right? So make sure you're in a receptive state, and in order to do that, you might be asking, how do I get in a receptive state? It's only so that you feel worthy enough. So if you don't feel worthy for an opportunity, you basically subconsciously either reject it without knowing it or create a situation wherein the opportunity goes away. So do some work in regards to self-love, and the easiest way to get there, the shortest way to tap into that, is think of how you would feel if you had that opportunity and you embodied it and you grounded it, and think of how you would feel about yourself after you've grounded that kind of manifestation. If the way you feel about yourself differs a lot from after you've integrated an opportunity or a manifestation, that's a questionable work of self-love that you have to do. You should essentially be similar to if you integrated a gift. So let's say, for example, you have this goal of manifesting a lot of money, or you have this goal of losing a lot of weight or something like that. And when you tune into the self that has a lot of money or lost a lot of weight, and it feels very different from how you feel about yourself right now, that's the gap that you have to like squash before you can accept this grace. But I think you are able to do that. That's why this gift is coming to you. Just be in a receptive state. And if you have trouble just working it out holographically in that kind of way, because basically what you can do is merge with your ideal self in a holographic projection and merge chakras with it. That's a good subconscious emergence with that level of yourself. But if that's difficult for you to do, then you can use EFT. EFT is a very, very effective energy medicine. If you're not sure what it is, you can just research it, Google it, YouTube it. You can search on Amazon for books. It's one of the easiest ways to work around your subconscious blockages. And also I would recommend subliminals, but high frequency subliminals. I recommend Dr. Virtual 7 to get started with, and then you can venture up from there. But he's basically what I recommend to Starseeds because he has that cosmic consciousness. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this has been helpful. I love you guys so much. See you later. Bye.